Here's Queers. What's on the big gay agenda today, Theora?
Today we are doing a super special episode of Why Do We Love This Series? And today we'll be discussing The Secret of Us. Woo!
Woo!
Yeah,
And
so
the
we watched
secret
this.
is
The
that
secret is what?
we're about to reveal
All
why
the
we love
secrets.
it.
We watched this a long time ago. I watched it as it was airing, and now we're back to give it some love because we got wrapped up doing blank for 500 years. So we wanted to cover all the other shows that we've seen and give them some love because they deserve it. And just as a FYI, this will not be a scene by scene breakdown because we don't have time. So this is just going to be a one and done episode where we talk about all the reasons why we loved this series. And at the end, we'll also ask the audience, why did you love The Secret of Us? And we'll share what our audience thought as well. So that's what this episode is going to be about. Just full disclosure, neither of us read the novel. So this discussion will purely be based on the series, The Secret of Us, and not any novel spoilers or anything because we didn't read it, so we can't spoil it. So we're just going to talk about the series today.
And if you also love the series, we watched The Secret of Us and reacted to it. Some episodes are on YouTube, and if you go over to our Patreon and become a member, you can watch our reactions to the entire season. So we do have quite a bit Secret of Us content.
Yeah. And if you love The Secret of Us and want to talk about it, or you love LingOrm or Thai Girl Love shows in general, join our Discord because we have little like channels and threads for like every single thing that's happening right now, including these two, because they're going to get another series and it's going to be amazing. So go hang out, meet some friends.
People are waiting there.
Yeah, have fun.
You're going to have so much fun.
So much fun.
Join the chaos.
Yeah, it's great. It's a good way to keep up to date on what's happening because like they're doing the Lord's work in that channel, being like, this is next.
That's where we're getting our info right now.
My news channel is the Discord. All right, and if you stick around to the end, Kaitlynn will give you a secret word that you can add in the Secret of Us secret word. So you want to be ready for that at the very end of this discussion. All right, are you ready to get into why we love The Secret of Us, Kaitlynn?
I think so.
All right. I think we should start from the beginning. I would like to say one of the things I loved about The Secret of Us is the first episode. I like the way it's bookmarked with like, here's where we're at. Oh my God, who's this woman? Why do they hate each other? And then we get the entirety of their happy relationship backstory and like how we got to where we are, which is the withering stairs in a hospital. Like, so I loved that episode because it's just mostly happy, and we never get television shows where it's any episode is mostly happy. There's like a sprinkle of happiness and then like anxiety's happening because I'm like, this is too happy, something bad's gonna happen. But like you got a lot of happiness in the first episode, and I really appreciated that personally.
I have to say, as someone who tends to forget things very easily, I appreciated seeing the timeline of events in the past all together. So I don't have to piece it, be like, oh, was that before or after this happened? So it was nice to see the whole story. It was kind of like a prequel before the show begins.
Totally. And I saw some critique in the fandom that I think is valid, where people said, well, I wish that they would have sprinkled it kind of like Pluto does, where you're like, why do they hate each other? And then you get sprinkles of the relationship throughout, which is also valid because that's what Pluto did. And it did keep things interesting because you're like, what is happening? Like, why do they hate? Like, yeah, like that would have been engaging. But like, personally, I liked this approach because like Kaitlynn said, like you get the entirety of their relationship is like so cute when you actually watch the whole thing. And what I love about the first episode in particular, when you get their full backstory, is that it really shows how their relationship, without all the outside influences, which throughout the show, it's like you see why they're fractured, but it's just it works, and why, like, how happy they really are, and like there's no drama happening in those scenes. It's just them being happy and cute. And so you get to see like really peak Ern and Falada of just like how cute and healthy their relationship is when you don't have all the bullshit that comes later, you know? And I liked that because I can go back and watch that and just be happy and then pause it when it gets weird. When Ern gets the phone call about mom, I'm like, oh, we're done.
Oh, You
You know?
compared it to Pluto, and I think that is a great comparison because the shows are two different tones. So this definitely works
Totally.
for this show because the
Yeah.
tone isn't mystery, what is going to happen, like do they know this? No, it's just like this is a love story. We're focusing on that. So they know their focus. They don't need to catch you off guard by anything. So they're just
No.
laying everything out like this is who we are. They're people, and that's basically what the show just portrays.
Yeah, and like we're just waiting for both of them to know. Well, really follow it out to know the secret of us. We're just waiting for that
No,
conversation.
basically that's the thing. We just like
That's the
followed
thing.
up. Figure out the secret of you.
And her and Ern and your mom and the fuck shit that happened. Yeah. But like it progresses the way it progresses. It's realistic for somebody who's like okay, so I forgot watching this how bad I felt for Falada most of the time because I was like, Ern is like harassing her low key for a bit. And I understand where Ern's coming from. She's like, I'm getting my life back, whatever. Fuck her mom. Like, we're doing this. But Falada was like,
Not
you
literally.
literally ripped my heart out. Like, fuck you forever. And like that's so valid. Like, if I was her too, I wouldn't want to hear Ern out. I'm like, I don't care what you have to say now. You totally destroyed my whole life and I still don't know. And it doesn't matter why you did it. Fuck you. Like, so I understand why it took so long for them to like get to the secret of all of this because like Falada's reasoning for being like so shut off towards Ern is valid, and then Ern is like poking the wound constantly, and it's like, girl, like no. So
I
I
feel
get
like
it.
Erin came back trying to pretend like none of that happened, like she didn't break Falada's heart.
Right. She's like went overboard on the cuteness, and Falada's like, bitch, step back. I'm still in pain. Like, anyway, so it's like it worked. Like I understand. I do. I get it. Okay. So do you have a point, Kaitlynn, that you'd like to bring up? I would give
Um,
popcorn, or I can just keep going. Up to you.
I mean, sure, it's deals with the opening happiness.
Do it.
One of the I guess it's just a scene in general, but when Falada comes to Ern's rescue with that atrocious man
Oh God,
pretending
at the
like,
cafe. Ugh.
oh yeah,
The
that
sexual
dude.
harasser. Yeah.
So first of all, Falada coming to Ern's rescue and defending her, amazing. Love
Oh,
that.
love that. Love a powerful woman. We're here for that.
But one of my favorite things that I started laughing is when they're walking together afterwards, and
I know what you're
Falada
saying.
goes, "You assault people? Aren't you afraid of being sued?" And Ern just goes, "I would run."
I'd run.
Like just simple like that.
I'll run away. That was really funny.
Their moments together are just they're so funny.
They're funny.
Oh my gosh. No, like yeah,
Yeah.
I love
Again,
it.
like their
Good.
relationship at its core is really cute and sweet and like fucking funny. Like they're cute together, but it's just like there's bullshit we have to deal with, unfortunately.
Yeah, it really is just outside people
It's outside influences. Yeah, exactly. And
making
like
making issues for them.
correct creating issues. Yeah. Anyway, bullshit. So speaking of issues, not really, but I have no way to transition. I want to talk about one of my other favorite scenes since you mentioned a favorite scene. It's from the first episode also, is when Erin's talking about her dream house because this scene was so relatable it hurts. So like Falada's like trying to be the good medical student and like study on a bench, and Erin's just like complaining about like she shows her the postcard for the first time. She's like, "This is the house I want," and it's like a sprawling villa in Tuscany. Which, like, girl, what? What are you gonna make a tech app or some shit? How are you gonna afford that? Anyway, so she goes on the tirade of like, "Well, I'll probably be able to afford it when I'm 40 or 50 or 60 or 80." And so she's like, "Oh my god, I have to wait that long to own a house," which, like, in this economy, yeah, girl, fuck, this was so relatable. It hurts. And
You'll be
she's
lucky if you ever can.
right. And her next line was so funny where she's like, "I don't want to work that long. I just want to hang out with my future dog and you instead." And it's like, Ern became the most relatable person on earth in that scene. So real.
I feel like that's everybody's thought process of like
Literally.
because you're told to think of your goals for the future when you're in like high school, and then you're thinking you're like, oh, I have to do this to be able to get that. and it's probably going to take longer than that. And then, why am I doing this in the first? I
Right.
don't want to work. Why are you asking me what I want to do? I want to do nothing.
We're just spiraling. But the other cute thing about this scene too is, yeah, Ern being super funny and relatable, but like Falada is just kind of like listening and then like literally clocking every single thing Ern's talking about. Because Ern's talking about like my dream in the future, and then Falada's like that house, yeah, give me that postcard, and then the dog will come back. So we'll talk about that later. But like Falada's just clocking all the shit that Ern's talking about, which is also really sweet and a good sign of a good relationship. So like, there's that too.
Yeah, lots. There was listening going on. Falada is willing to listen if someone talks to her.
She literally listens. I mean, she's a good doctor. I'll give her that. Like, she's got good bedside manner. She listens. Like, she's a good doctor.
She's not good at staying in her department, though.
No, she's really bad at staying in her lane as a doctor. Because, like, so when specialists get into other specialists' business, that's like a huge no-no in medicine. And like, Falada's like up in the ER. Bo's always like, "Get the fuck out of my ER, dermatologist. What the hell are you doing here?" Get out.
So much that I think it's the first episode, and Bo's like, "You should become an ER doctor.
And then you can help me instead of just taking over my
Falada
wards."
goes, "Oh, I'm too busy with dermatology." Then Bo says to, "Oh, you can do both. You already are trying to."
You're already doing. I'm like, girl, but get out of here. I think what it's supposed to demonstrate is that Falada was like, again, I didn't read the novel, but my assumption from that scene, the fact that she's going into the ER and like doing ER work, one, she's super dedicated to like the success at the hospital, which belongs to her family, but also I think it's demonstrating that she's a really good doctor. Like, she probably just did really well in med school, period. And because I don't know what it's like in Thailand to become a dermatologist, but in the United States, that's the hardest specialty to get into. Like, you have to be a spectacular doctor to get a dermatologist fellowship. So I think that it's also showing that she's just a really good, well-rounded doctor who chose dermatology and got in. So maybe that's why she can cross cover in the ER. Not that she should be, because like, you have an ER doctor and that's her. It's Bo's ER. Like, get out of her. She doesn't come to your derm patients. She's like, "I'm taking over today." Like, it's just rude for the other doctor. But like, I think that's what it's showing about Falada's like character and work ethic and things like that, which I understand. But like, I'm with Bo, who's like, "Why are you in my ER all the time? This is mine."
It would be so funny if, like, during the, like, when Rati was coming in and Bo just came in, was like, "You know what? I'm trying dermatology out. Move over."
Move over.
And then Falada was like, "Good, thank you, bye."
Thank God. You can have this patient.
And then she actually does try to help Rati and be like, "Okay, so let's talk about your skin. Like, what's going on?" And then Rati's like, I'm good, bye."
Yeah. I'm gonna follow the other doctor.
Well, speaking of Bo,
Ooh, Bo.
let's talk about the dynamic with the friends, because
let's do it.
The friend groups are always amazing in
I
these
know.
shows. But I also love that Bo and Tan, they're like bickering back and forth.
Oh my God.
I love those scenes. They're basically brother and sister.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
Because every time that they were together in a scene, you knew that something insane was about to be said, done. But when they gang up together, that's when you know you're in trouble.
Yes, that's when Falada's in trouble. But also, I like the brother and sister dynamic between the two of them. And then when you bring in Falada, like, that's kind of how they treat her too, like they're siblings, because they're constantly looking out for her and their perspectives are kind of different. So if you go to like episode 2 or 3, when Ern's starting to harass Falada, and that's how Tan sees it. And he's like, "Oh my God, she's harassing Falada," because his perspective is like, "I saw her, the bitch, fall apart when Ern left her the first time, and it was horrible. And she's finally like doing better, and like, this bitch is gonna ruin it." So he's like coming from that perspective where he's like, "She needs to leave and get the hell out of here." Whereas Bo's like, you can kind of see her like lighting up when she's around Ern. So like, maybe it's more complicated than that. And like, sometimes we'll be like, well, let's see it from Ern's perspective also. So like, they come at the problem, this problem that's affecting their mutual friend / sibling from different perspectives. And I think that that's really a good thing for Falada, because like, they have a good balanced dynamic, the friend group. And they're at the core, they're both like super supportive of each other, and mainly Falada because it's her story. But so I do like that about the two of them, and they were funny.
It's not like they're trying to push her to do any one
Yeah,
thing,
no.
like skewing her thought process. It is that is a good point to point out, that they are more well-rounded. And Falada needs people who are actually there for her. And Tan, oh my gosh, was he ever there for her?
Oh my
He did
god.
so much for
He
her.
took classes for her, which is
That's
crazy.
insane.
And took care of her when her drunk ass was, like, falling all over her mansion or wherever she was. Like, he stepped up big time. So I understand where he's coming from. He's like, "I'm not letting her or me go through this again, Earn. Get out of here." Like, I understand where he's coming from. It's a place of
He's
love.
like, I've lived this film before.
I did not like that ending. It was the worst ending. 0 out of 5 stars. Get out of here, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what is 5 stars out of 5 stars? Okay, my other favorite scene is in episode 2 where we get back to basically Falada's being like, "I fired you from this commercial, Ern, get out of here because I hate you." And then they like Ern and company have to be like, "Well, shit, the crew's here. We have to like get this filmed. Let's fix this shit." And Susie's pissed off at Ern and is like, "Oh my god." And then somebody from the crew comes up to her to be like, Susie, you gotta, because she's the manager, you gotta like talk to people or whatever. And Susie gives the iconic line, "I'm in a bad mood today. I don't want to talk to anyone." Also relatable. Like, yeah, I feel like saying that most days. So I love that. And then he's like, it's the CEO of the company. She's like, "I guess I gotta do my job." But I love that line where she's like, "I'm pissed off now. Don't talk to me." Get out of here.
Oh my
Too many
gosh,
people.
Susie. All right, let's get into Susie in
I love
general,
Susie. Okay, let's do it.
because
I love her.
Susie, first of all, anytime Susie's on screen, you just smile,
Oh my god,
because
I love
how
her.
can you not? She is so adorable, so invested in everything. Minus the one moment that sticks in my brain that
Yes.
I really have trouble forgetting, which is how she reacted to Ern and eating the banana on purpose. But overall, Susie is such a great manager for Ern, and not
Yes.
even just
Oh
a
my
manager.
god.
She is a great friend to Ern. Like, she has always been there for her, minus the incident. And she, like, Ern was literally able to break down in Susie's arms, and Susie held her.
Multiple times too, not just once.
Yeah.
Yeah, like consistently.
Just Susie, thank you. Thank you for looking out for Ern. Because, like, Ern just,
Seriously.
especially on set too, like, Ern would just,
Oh my
like,
god.
push everything away and be like, oh, it's fine, I'm not hurt. And then between Susie and Ingfa, who we will give her own section to, but, like, people need to stand up for her. Like, the only time, like, you see Ern really confident is when she's trying to get back to Falada.
Yeah, it's true. No, I love Susie standing up for her on set when, like, clearly the other actor is just sabotaging her and shit. Like, good manager. And not only that, back on what you said about, like, Susie just being a good friend to Ern, like, kind of at the end of the day, she's Ern's friend, even though they're, like, they have a work dynamic. When Ern is, like, the shipping shit starts happening with Ern and Ingfa, and she's like, "Well, things are starting to work out with my actual girlfriend. I don't want these gigs anymore because fans are going to ship us as if we're really dating, even though it's marketing. And that's going to make my actual girlfriend uncomfortable and jealous. And I don't want that." Susie's like, "What, we're making bank finally. Like, this is your breakout, like the shipping thing. That's how this works." And then Ern is like, "No, but seriously, it's going to impact my personal life. I don't want that." And I like that Susie's like, "Okay, fine." Like, concedes that, even though it's like, as the manager, she's like, "This is what we need to do to like get you to the next level. Like, this is like, she could have pitched it to Ern to be like, this is a stepping stone. Like, we know that it's fake. Like, it'll be fine. Talk to Falada. Like, it'll be like." Susie's just like, "Okay, Ern, if that's really what you want, we'll like say goodbye to those billions of bot that were coming our way with, because I mean, you and Ingfa, it's a ship of dreams. So like, I guess we'll step away
Mm-hmm.
from that." So
Even in the beginning of the show too, though, with Ern not even wanting to take the job that brings her back to Falada in the
oh my god,
beginning.
yeah. She's like, "Cancel it
Susie was
now."
like,
Susie's like,
what do you
"Ugh."
mean you don't want to do this? I
Oh
mean,
my
of
god, I
course,
love.
when she does get the permission, she's like, "You can't go back on this now. You just told me I can do it."
I do love when she's on the
But
phone. She's like, "Fine, I'll call the hospital," and like gets somebody on the phone, and then Ern's like, "JK," and then she's like, just shuts it off and like throws the phone. She's like, "Whatever, okay, whatever." Doesn't say anything. So that was really funny. And she's like, "Do not put me in that position again, Ern." So yeah, good friend at the end of the day, even despite the manager aspect, which was really sweet.
the actor has great physicality, like
Oh my
physical
god.
comedy, such on point. Everything. You
The
just throw them
scene,
in a scene. I feel like you could just give them here, do this, this, and this, free for all the rest. I think that would be the best thing ever with
it'd be
them.
so funny. I like the scene where she's like, "Hey, Ern, you should go work out with Ingfa so I can come with you," and then starts doing squats in the middle of the hallway of the hospital, which is so funny. I was like, this. She's hilarious.
I love her.
Oh my god, she's so funny. Okay. Pivoting off of favorite scenes and favorite characters for a second, I just want to give credit to the screenwriter, directing, props people, because in this show, there's a lot of symbolism throughout the entire show that really ties the story together that I really enjoy and really loved. It was another like form of consistency in the show. And it starts really with, I'm going to point out two. One is the music box, um, and the hearts that are kind of throughout and how heart is kind of used. And then the second thing is the puzzle. So in the backstory of them, I think the first time they like hook up or whatever, in the next morning, the term of endearment, my heart, it comes up for the very first time and it's used throughout the show. And once that's kind of uttered, like hearts start showing up as part of their decor. And one big key one is the music box. And so on the music box, if you remember, there's the two figurines. There's like Ern and Falada as like little, I don't know, wooden figurines that go on this thing. And Falada is the one holding the heart because like she hears, because like Ern is the one that said my heart, and then Falada is the one that files shit away. She's the sap in the relationship and is like, okay, whatever you want, my queen, I will get for you, whether you ask for it or not. So like basically, Ern says this, Falada runs with it, and then is like, okay, Ern has my heart, obviously, and I'm giving it to her, kind of thing. So she puts it on the music box, and then going back to the "I'll never afford this house" scene when Ern's like, I just want to live my life with you and our dog one day. On the music box, there's a little dog on there too. Like, so again, like the way they like, and I think Ern gifted her the music box, but still, like the way they kind of have these conversations and then make these dreams together, and then like make concrete gifts to each other that really like bring the, like not bring the dream to life, but kind of like tie in the fact that like, yes, this is our shared dream. I see the vision too. Like, you have my heart, I have yours. This is our future dog, which is really cute. And I love that that keeps kind of popping up because it's like one of their first terms of endearment, and it just like hearts keep kind of showing up to kind of show us that, which I really really like.
It's really cute. But you know, like the saying etched in stone? This is kind of like them saying that their story is carved in wood.
Yeah,
Like this is the future. And it it is really cute.
it's
I
super
saw
cute.
I know that's like not very analytic. Oh my gosh, analytical.
It's
But it's
okay.
very cute.
It is cute. It is cute. It's cute that Fallout keeps it, even though she's like, that bitch can rot in hell. Like, she still keeps all the gifts, despite the anger.
Well, I mean, how can you throw that away?
I know.
How can you?
No,
But it's
she
just,
can't.
yeah, it is like the permanence of this will be our future.
Right. Exactly. And then the other manifestation of this will be our future that's way more obvious and explicit is the puzzle. And I love the puzzle because the puzzle is the most consistent through line because we get it in the very first episode on when Falada gifts it to Ern in the flashback. It says the line, "This puzzle will be important for our relationship."
How
But then,
ominous.
what a line, right? But then the puzzle, if you notice, like throughout the show, we get the puzzle in various states of being put together, being broken apart, being put together. As Ern and Falada go on this journey of putting their relationship back together that crumbled apart, right, into a bunch of pieces, they put the pieces back together, and it's not linear. Like it comes together, then it falls apart. It comes. So they demonstrate with the puzzle building throughout each episode to kind of reflect what's happening with this relationship. Something I find that's really interesting about the puzzle is that Ern doesn't start this puzzle when they're together in the flashback, which is kind of odd because I mean if like my significant other gave me a puzzle, like I would start the puzzle, but she doesn't start it until they break up.
And she also doesn't know what it's of. I would be so curious, be like, what is this puzzle of?
Well, she does ask, and then that's when Falada's like,
Yeah.
it's a secret. It's important for a relationship. You got to put together. So off the bat, like we get I guess that Erd is not a good puzzle builder, and then she doesn't have a reference to build it, so it's gonna make it even harder. So like I understand why it took her forever to like even get it close. Also, her puzzling technique is really terrible because when you see her making the puzzle, all the pieces are in the box. And what is she taking one at a time and like trying every?
How
I'm like, girl,
many?
you start with the edges. Like she has no strategy. It's like she's never done a puzzle before. Like no strategy. I was like, girl, no
Maybe
wonder this
she
took
has
10
it.
years. Which is fine. It's whatever. It's not the point of this. The point of this is that the screenwriters intended the puzzle to be more symbolic of their relationship than an actual test of Ern's puzzling skills. So we see her like the first time we see her like working on the puzzle is when her and Falada are kind of like finally Falada's at her place and like years later and she's doing the puzzle. And she mentions like, oh, this I still haven't gotten it. This has taken me forever and I still have not gotten this puzzle. And I think it's because like she doesn't have the reference. And like when we know what the picture is later, it's like of the dream house that she mentioned. Like when Ern was firstly like, this is gonna be our future, basically. And Falada was like, yep, file that away forever. So I think that it's supposed to be symbolic of like when they were apart, like there was no future for them. Like Ern couldn't see a future. Falada couldn't see a future for the two of them. So therefore she couldn't complete the puzzle because it's symbolic. It's not really meant to be a real puzzle. And also like Ern couldn't complete the puzzle on her own when they were separated because you can't repair a relationship with one person. You need the other person involved. So makes sense that she never completed it when they were apart, right? And but despite that, Ern and Falada do like hold on to their feelings for each other despite the bullshit. So there's hope that we can complete the puzzle. So as the show progresses and as they really start actively working on the relationship, when we get past the antagonism and like the, aggressive, I'm gonna get you back, here's a million balloons, that kind of stuff. When they actually sit down and are talking like person to person, the puzzle starts forming, right? Because they are simultaneously actually rebuilding their relationship together. And, as they work through the relationship, the puzzle starts mirroring their progress. Like things get good, then Ingfa fucks shit up, and then Falada destroys the puzzle, and like, because she's
That
jealous.
scene, when you see that puzzle just go to pieces, that is powerful, especially when you're thinking how this puzzle is the metaphor.
Yes.
And then you see Ern just
Ern.
breaking down.
Yes.
And like that's when Susie's there because Susie is the person that she has to fall on. But the pieces are scattered. And it's like, how can I ever get all the pieces back? Will I even find all of it or will I lose a piece forever?
Yes, exactly. Or it was some of this damaged beyond repair.
Yeah.
Because like Falada was not fucking around when she was destroying that puzzle. So like I'm surprised all the pieces survived. Truly, and she didn't break some of them in her rage. Excuse me. Because I mean that happens with relationships. Sometimes there are some things you can't repair or come back. There's when you cross certain lines, there is no coming back. So like that is a really scary pivotal moment. And Ern reacts appropriately for what is she's seeing, especially in the metaphor of the puzzle, like you just said.
Kudos to the actor for having to scream and sob
Oof, oof.
for
Yeah.
another time.
Good job, Orm. Jesus Christ. Yeah, and then okay, so like let's get to the end where the puzzle eventually does come together. Okay, so we do see them completing it before Falada flips out and destroys it, right? And that product is different from the actual final product of the puzzle. So we get the complete thing at the end at the wedding when she unveils the puzzle and it's framed and she gives it to Ern. And it's different. There's 2 additions to the painting puzzle compared to the original. So Falada adds the figurines from the music box of her and Ern, and then adds in English the phrase forever love. Yeah, good job, webcam. Okay, so
For
why
those
did she
listening,
do that?
Theora's webcam gave a thumbs
Gave a
up.
thumbs up. So why did she do that? Okay, it's number one, Falada is a huge sap, like I mentioned, so there's that. But that's not the main reason. I think again, if we're looking at the puzzle as a metaphor for Ern and Falada's relationship, their relationship has changed throughout this time that they spent trying to rebuild it. Their bonds are stronger than they were before, and their relationship is now more solid in the fact that they have like the full support of all the friends and Falada's crazy family, right? So I think that because of that the picture evolved, right? It's got forever love on it because there's no freaking outside forces anymore. This can be forever. It's not just a dream when we were in college, like you know what I mean? And but despite that, like I think I like the figurines because it's Falada basically saying like, you know, it's still just us at the end of the day. The us that started this is still us, but like it's forever now because of all the trials we went through. And I do love the fact that Falada so then it really becomes like this is their home. This is their shared future. And now it's a reality, this like Tuscan villa. And I do love that Falada again comes through with it and is like, that's where we're going on our honeymoon because that's the completion of this journey they went on. Like their dream is the reality. And I like that it ends there because this how she's right. This was important for our future. Like, because they had to go through all the struggle to build the puzzle, quote unquote, and then they get to enjoy the completion of the puzzle, which is like the honeymoon at the villa. And it just that whoever made that choice as a screenwriter, or I'm not sure if this was the novel, but like this was really brilliant and beautiful. And I love the consistency of this puzzle as the metaphor for their relationship and how it fractured, came back together, and then got even stronger and changed. And change is not always bad. Sometimes change can be a good thing, which
And
is
it's
their
framed
marriage.
now, showing that they have a solid foundation that they have built together.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
great frame.
I
It's
love
it's
it.
so beautiful.
It's so
I
beautiful.
cannot I just it's gonna hang, it's gonna look great in their house, in
I
that
know.
villa.
And then she's gonna hang it, and then she's gonna put the music box underneath so you can see the little figurines. It's just like Falada's the one. She's like Big Nun, where she thinks like 10 moves ahead, and is like, "You said that one thing, I'll remember it forever, and then get it for you later when you least expect it." That's Falada, okay, in this relationship.
I don't think the music box should be directly under. I think it should be in the same room, but be on
Yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah.
different pedestal. So like when guests come
Mm,
over, they look and then they're just like kind of piecing things together like a puzzle
like a puzzle.
themselves.
Well
Yeah.
said. Well,
But at one point they definitely get like stuffed things of these characters because they're going to be everywhere.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
All right. But unless you have something else about this puzzle, before we get into the next group of scenes, because we have similar ones, we have to take a moment to acknowledge our Chaos crew members over on Patreon. And
Woo!
as always, we appreciate each and every one of you, whether you are supporting us on Patreon, watching or listening to this on our Discord. We love all of you who are here with us because you are our community. And I mean, I just cannot tell you how much we love you. And especially on Patreon, we have some lovely Chaos crew members who actually take the time to give us their money too and get extra content. I know that this isn't that eloquent, but I'm trying to figure out how to communicate how much I love you.
That's the secret of
And
us.
sometimes it's just passion, okay? I'm passionate about what you are bringing to us so we can bring you more.
Yeah.
So over on Patreon, we have our Chaos crew members on the Big A Ride or Die tier and above. And as of filming, they are Angela, Natalia, Ian A, Jill L, Regina B, Monet F, Dana, Shy, Isla, Madison, and A Mix New Mon Zone _ multi.
Woo!
We appreciate you all.
All of
And
you.
continuing our appreciation, our featured Big Gay supporter members for this episode are Sabrina M, Cami, and KY. Thank you again. And thank you, all of you.
Yes.
Your support means everything to us and allows us to keep spreading the joy of queer content.
Absolutely.
And allows us to be weirdos and talk about the media that we talk about already. Like, this is our normal conversations, by the way.
Literally. We do this off camera all the time. So thanks for giving us an excuse. All right.
Yeah. So let's get into the banana of it all.
The banana or the banoffee pie? Where do you want to start?
The banoffee, because that is the banoffee.
Banoffee.
That is the start of it all.
All right. You want me to start? I can start.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about Ern's recklessness with her health and why that happened. Okay. Particularly the banoffee pie scene. So this occurs for the first time we learn about her horrible banana allergy in the flashback. Okay. So why did this even happen? Okay. So basically the scene is when Falada goes all out for Ern's birthday. Okay. And like decks out the apartment and then makes her desserts, and this pie being one of them. She's like, it's my first time making it. I put up, and like Ern is sitting there and like you see her face and she's like, oh fuck, like I can't eat that because I'm gonna die. But Falada is like gushing over like how she put so much effort into Ern's birthday. Okay, so how do we get Ern being like, fuck it, I'll die for love? How do we get there? Let's go back a little bit further to when their first meeting at the cafe. Okay, not their meet cute. The cafe, when Falada was like, wow, I picked the one place in random European town where there's other Thai people and also the girl I ran into the other day. Good job, Falada. Like, good on you. What's the name of the cafe?
It's like someone wrote it for you.
It's almost like someone wrote this, yeah. But anyway, it's cute. I'm not saying it's not cute. It's just funny watching it. Okay, but this scene's important. So when they're at the cafe, Falada calls Ern pretty. And Ern's reaction to Falada calling her, because I think Ern starts it, she's like, you're beautiful, doctor. You're a beautiful doctor, which, yes. And then Falada's like, but you're beautiful also. And then Ern's reaction is being really surprised that she's getting this earnest compliment from the hot doctor. And Ern says, Ern like replies, no one has ever called me beautiful before. People think I'm childish. So setting the scene with Ern that she's somebody who has low self-esteem and which has been reinforced by other people to like not take her seriously. Okay. Which is kind of weird because like when we get glimpses of her family, they seem supportive, but we also don't get a lot of her actual family dynamic. So like, I don't know. I can't really compliment. Mom seemed on board with the relationship, but like beyond that, I don't know because we don't get it. It's Falada's story.
People can be supportive, but also put you down at the same time.
Totally. We really don't know Ern's backstory. And like, honestly, that's my one critique with the show. I wish it was more with Ern, but I understand because I started reading the novel and I didn't have time to finish it. It is Falada's point of view. So like the show reads like that. So as a like novel to show translation, it does read like Falada's point of view, which is
just
fair.
To point out quickly. Also, Susie is constantly telling her how talented she is, how good she is. She is giving Ern this sense of like, you are worth it, you're good, you don't doubt yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So from the jump, even back then, when she's like in college and struggling to do what she wants to do with the cafe job, Ern is somebody who had low self-esteem that was reinforced, like you're saying. And then here comes Falada, and then suddenly she had somebody in her life who sees her and values her. So let's go back to the birthday scene where Falada again put in all this effort into making Ern's birthday special. Okay, and Ern, who has low self-esteem at baseline, didn't want to break whatever spell this is by telling Falada the truth that she has this allergy and have Falada be disappointed in her the way everybody else is. So I think that's why Ern is reckless with her health in this scene, because she's like, fuck it. Like, I finally have somebody who sees me, who validates me, values me. What's a little anaphylaxis, right? To make, because Falada, like, when they're having the scene, Falada says, she's like, I put so much effort into this. And you just see the war on Ern's face where she's like, she's so happy and she did all this for me, somebody who's not worthy of it, right? From Ern's point of view. And she's like, what's anaphylaxis compared to love? Like, and like, was this reckless? Yes. Was it also romantic? Yes. But really, to me, it shows that how Ern would willingly sacrifice herself to preserve Falada's happiness, which sets up the entire tragedy of like what's about to happen in the series. Like, Ern is that person who's willing to sacrifice, and she does it over and over and over again so that Falada can be happy, so that Falada can have her family that she loves, all those things. Like, she's like the stereotypical female archetype of like, my strength is in my self-sacrificing ability. That's Ern.
She does that on set too. That's what we see when she's like, oh, I'm not her. It's okay to keep the production happy and running because other people are causing issues. So I can't be another issue that they have to deal with. Which she's not the issue. It's still that one person.
Can we talk about the fact that why was Rati not fired from that production?
There has to have been like just some name attached to Rati, like to the point where like they could not get out of it, and if they did, it would have just like shut down production permanently. Also, they probably were too far by one point.
Yeah,
and like couldn't recast. Whatever.
You could have killed off that character over.
Oh my gosh, that's what they should have done. Oh my god, she could have shot herself, because that is very
like, she gone now. Let's keep going. But yeah, let's talk about that, because on set, you're right. I didn't put that together. That's a really good call. Like, Ern is always the one who's like, no, I'm fine, even though I'm bleeding out on set. I'm fine. But who's the one that steps in and actually takes action? It's Ingfa, who's more like masculine coded. So it's very much still, those archetypes are still at play. And then Rati's just the devil incarnate. Oh my god.
Rati,
the most unprofessional
cool.
actor.
Gosh.
Good lord. Good lord.
I don't understand how she's not blacklisted. Like,
I hope after that she is.
Honestly, because we're still like this in society. If she was a man, I would see why.
Yeah, totally.
But because she's a female in this industry, I'm really surprised at how this is played out. And maybe that's just because this is a girl love story and female centric.
Yeah. Also, like,
obviously it shouldn't be like that. But just with society,
I think you're right though. That goes kind of beyond that, because at one point when Ingfa confronts her, remember like Ingfa's last scene besides the wedding, where she comes in and she's like, "Bitch, I got receipts on you," and basically Rati like blackmailed somebody who's big in the industry, and that's how she's getting gigs. So yeah, yeah. What a piece of work.
Rati is a shady bitch.
Yeah.
That would be her spinoff.
She's the worst. I don't want it. I don't want anything about her.
I don't think. I think we're good. We want Ingfa spinoff.
We want an Ingfa spinoff. We sure do.
An Ingfa and Jim spinoff.
Yes.
Okay, I know. We'll get back to the banana in a second, but there is a scene that I'm like, Jim would be there immediately. Jim's like, that's my friend. That's bitch. We're friends. We're together forever. And it's when it's the scene where she's like pretending to know Ern like more and like be closer to Ern than Falada, and says to Falada, "Oh yeah, she told me about what happened abroad."
Oh, yeah.
and Falada was like, "Oh, did she?" And Ern goes like, "Yeah, you were friends." And it just hurts Falada. And it hurts Ern too. And Ern's like, I don't know what to say. Like, I can't get anything out. Because first of all, she doesn't want to hurt either one of them at this point, even though like obviously Ingfa and Ern aren't together. It's just like, I'm trapped right now. I have no idea what to do. But then she tells Ingfa, I think that has gone too far. And then there's a couple more lines and she says, she has a quick temper. And Ingfa goes, that's why it's fun.
I know. It's so funny. She's like, I know. I can tell. I'm an actor.
Oh my
That was
gosh, no, I
hilarious.
love her. But before we get too much into Ingfa, back to the banana, because there's more to the Banoffee and all of that.
Go, go,
So do you
go.
have any more about the Banoffee scene?
No, I just had the Banoffee scene and like
I
why
just
it made sense for Ern
yeah.
as a character and how it really does set up Ern as the self-sacrificing person and like how Falada really compliments her, not like literally by complimenting her, but by like basically putting effort into Ern when Ern I think feels like no one has ever really done that, and how that changed Ern's life. Like this scene I think really was pivotal to Ern's life and their whole relationship because like she didn't seem to have a lot of self assurance in some ways, and I think this bolstered that in a way that like threw her on the trajectory to like become an actor and like chase her dreams and like that kind of stuff. I think this scene was really important.
Especially to chase her dreams. Like this is a tough
Yeah.
business
Oh
to
my god. Yeah.
have the self-confidence and esteem to actually try to be an actor in an industry that literally beats you not literally, okay, I mean maybe that beats you down verbally, emotionally every single day
Yeah.
is intense and shows how strong she is. And shows how much stronger she is when Falada meets her in the future.
Yeah.
So much growth for her. But I also want to know what the hell she was thinking was going to happen.
She's like she's a doctor. She's a doctor. She'll save me.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Falada's a doctor. She'll know. Okay. All right. But later, everything's going to hell, basically.
Yes.
And she's like, I know. Well, first of all, she's looking for attention. She's not okay mentally because
No.
low self-esteem, like, it doesn't just go away. It's always in the back of your mind. No matter how confident you tell yourself you are, there's always that little voice. And especially when things are bad, it's going to come to the forefront more. So she gets bananas, more than one. Again, not totally sure why we get more than one, because it seems like bananas are pretty bad just with one of them. It's not like a small allergy.
No. Girl, save your money. Get one banana.
She's like, oh, they're pretty cheap. Here they're like 69 cents or something like that. I'm like, it's just less than $1. 3 for $1.
Sure.
That's
yeah,
why we got
who
multiple.
knows?
She likes a good bargain.
She might.
But she eats the banana and then obviously ends up in the ER. Luckily, she ate the banana inside the hospital or right outside
the ER.
this megaplex that's a hospital, airport, hotel, mall.
It's the setting for all of our fan fictions. Is this one location? Yes. It has everything.
It's a great location.
It's a great location.
It looks very convenient for anything you want to do.
Agreed.
I would love to visit.
Same.
Anyway, so she ends up in the ER, and in this episode, I believe it's 103, I noticed a parallel because right after you see her doing something that she knows will hurt her because she's in pain and is losing Falada. Like, she's actually accepting that at this point. Like, it's going through her head. Not accepting it, but she's understanding that thought now. Not like, oh, I can just be my charming self and continue to go at her and at. So there's a parallel in this episode between that and then Falada drinking too much when Ern leaves her in the past.
Yes.
So both of them they resort to doing things that they know will hurt them because they can't have the person they love. And that is even more hurtful to them. So it's just when I realized that, I was like, damn, and it's like good. Back to back. So I'm like, how did I not notice that from the first place?
Good job, Kaitlynn.
They have the both responses to pain, and it especially when it's with the person they love and with each other. And it makes sense here because Falada is very understanding and worried about Ern when this happens in the hospital with the banana. Like Susie, we mentioned, It's like, think about all the people on set. You're costing them their job. Like, all the production could shut down. Think about other people. If you do this again, I won't talk to you. That is not what you say to someone who basically tried to, trigger warning, kill themselves. Whether she wanted to do that or whether she's suicidal, like, it's got bad enough to the point where she's willing to hurt herself. That person
Yes.
is not okay, and
No,
that is
Earn was
not
not
how you
okay.
respond to them. But Falada is right there next to her. I mean, we do see that one of them was a daydream of them,
Oh
like,
my
when they
god.
kiss and
That
stuff
was
like
rude,
that.
editors. That was rude.
That was really rude. I was
That was
like, "No,
rude.
there's no way that this is happening right now, right?" Um, but yeah, you see her being understanding where everyone else is like, "This isn't okay. Leave her alone. Don't do this again." And it's because she was there. Maybe she wasn't trying to hurt herself, but she was trying to forget. And
Yeah.
in the process of that, she did hurt herself. And Tan, because,
Oh my god.
good on you, Tan, for, like, sticking through that and, like, being there for her. But the
Yeah.
responses were very similar.
No, that's a really excellent point. I just want to bring out one. I just want to, yes to all of that. I just want to point out one thing with Susie's reaction to Earn. And we've gotten like comments to say, like, this is like in Asian
Mhm,
culture, kind of like think about other people. So yeah, I agree. I think that makes sense for why Susie did that. The other thing from like a narrative point of view that I can think of for like why that's Susie's reaction for Earn specifically is that it goes back to what I said earlier. Like Earn's the character who's archetyped as my power isn't sacrificing myself. So to get her to, so what Susie is saying is like, well, if you take yourself out, then like you're harming all these other people. So like get your shit together and sacrifice your feelings basically to go help the other people. So it kind of like plays into her being the sacrificial person a little bit to be like,
mhm.
how could you be selfish in this moment and not think of the other people? So like it's kind of that going on too with Earn. But I agree, like as like an American and like as a Earn stan, I was like, what the hell? Like clearly she's not okay. Like poor
Yeah.
Earn, you know?
Like, I totally understand that the cultures are different.
Yeah,
We've
totally.
only just started to begun talking about mental health in America, in the
Yeah, yeah,
United
yeah.
in the States. I'm gonna just say states at this point.
States are not
Um,
united.
divided states of America. Um, so, like, it's very new. This was something that was never talked about. No, people don't really know how to handle it. I understand that. But I also kind of feel like it was out of character for Susie in the fact that Susie's always there for her and
Yeah,
motivating her and bringing her up. So it didn't fully make sense
it's kinda
because she
jarring a
would
little
tell
bit.
production off and be like, "Hey, think about her," rather than telling Ernst to think about the production.
Yeah, that I agree with that. That was jarring to watch after we've seen Susie basically sacrifice work, like we said earlier, to for Ern's
Mhm.
personal wishes. So that was kind of weird. Like setting up Susie as Susie. If Susie was like the hard ass manager who's always like, no, Ern, you got to do it because we made a contract, honor your deals. That reaction would have made more sense from Susie, but it was kind of like a 180 for Susie to be like, wow, wow, Ern, I suddenly don't care about your feelings. Like that felt weird. I
It
agree.
almost seems like a producer had to be more involved in the story itself and, like, be the one to do that
Yeah.
because it just
Yeah, it felt weird coming from
and
Susie.
also it sticks in my head against Susie too, and I hate that it does, but the response for my experience and views is just really diminishes that, but just I just have to go back and look at even things past that too. I'm like, she's still there for her. It's just that one moment. And
Yeah.
she is a human too. And like maybe at that point she was scared something was going on in her own life. They are people, they can make mistakes, and that one, in my opinion, was, but they do get past it, which is good.
And to be fair, Susie does stay the entire time in the hospital with Ern and like takes care of her and stuff. Like what the family should be doing. Like she stays there, she brings all the
Mhm.
stuff, like feeds Ern, like so she
Susie
does.
is her family.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, exactly. Um, Speaking of family, unless you have more stuff about the bananas.
I think that's all the bananas we need.
No more bananas. Okay.
You can only have so many bananas.
Speaking of family, let's talk about Falada's mom for a second. And by mom, I mean the actor that plays her mom. Why is this woman typecast as the homophobic mom constantly by Channel 3 Productions. What the hell, guys? Like, I need a glow up for this actress where she's in a MILF love show and we actually get her being queer and just living her queer life in a MILF love series.
I need to make sure that people know that you were saying MILF, not
MILF,
milk,
MILF,
because
MILF
of
love.
milk love. I just
Yes,
needed
no.
to
She can
go
be
over
in
that.
a milk love show, and that's fine as long as she's not homophobic. I'm saying MILF, MILF series. That's what I need. Also, like more older adults being queer. Thank you.
What about a MILF love with Jim?
Fuck yeah, Jim is a MILF. Let's be honest, and I want her with Ingfa though. We're talking about Jim from Gap the series. If you don't know who we're talking about, Jim from Gap the
I
series.
meant for Jim to be in a those two. I mean, I don't
I'm
know
also
what
fine
the
with that.
dynamic, but
Jim would do well with an older woman. It's Jim.
Honestly, oh my god, could you see
Sugar
that?
baby Jim? Absolutely.
Like, maybe a MILF who like just came out or something, and Jim's like, "Oh, I got you." And
yeah,
like,
no. Yeah, that's Jim. Yeah, Jim would do well. But anyway, justice for this actress who's always being homophobic or typecast as homophobia. Give her a queer role. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, that poor. They get typecasted. Her and then the Kirk.
Oh
From
my
Gap.
god, yes, the actor that plays
poor
Kirk
dude.
in Gap. That man is always in the way of
man.
Free Becky. That's his job.
It got worse.
That was worse than the Loyal Pin. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that was the worst role ever. He's always in the way of the lady.
Great actor.
Yeah,
great actor.
well, he's great. I feel so bad for him. He was the in-between man in My Marvelous Dream Is You. Like, let him be the ally.
At least we didn't like. You don't hate him in Gap, but like that's a whole different discussion. But yeah,
yes, Secret
typecasting. Secret of Us. The Secret.
Where do you want to go next? That was all I had to say about her.
Yeah, I think we really only have one thing left. Do you have one thing left?
I have two things left.
Oh,
I have three things.
You just keep going because we covered like my main ones.
Okay, cool. I just want to say really quickly, I liked something I liked about in the show is I liked the glimpses of filming that happened with Ingfa and Ern and that whole storyline. And I really, really want to watch FBI My Love. Like, where is that show? Where is it? I want to watch it. That looked amazing. Can we get Ingfa starring in FBI My Love?
But like, if they took Rati out.
Yeah, no, like remove her, but like I want that show with like Ingfa starring in it because like looked awesome, whatever the show was.
You know what? I would love like Ingfa and Ern, like actually.
Yeah, just like
in real life,
together.
like I don't know if they could, but
probably
you know Ingfa. Oh, Ingfa. I'm sorry, I don't know the actor's name, but and Phi in those roles.
Yes, I would love that.
I want that.
Yes, very much. Okay, speaking of things
Buddy cop.
Speaking of things that I wanted and did get is my boy love that showed up in this show. And I was rooting for them since the beginning. And then it happened. And I was like, yes. So Wisanu and Tan, yes.
I love you.
Yes.
Never thought I'd root for men on TV.
They were so cute. And I was like,
that's not true, by the way.
Those two. Those two.
Yes. Oh my gosh, no, that first scene between the coffee and like the changing of the shirt.
Oh my god, that was the gayest. I love it so much. It was so cute. I love that scene when like Tan is like not thinking and he's just like putting the first of all, good job makeup department because like that was like burns that they got from the coffee and it looked like it. And then he's like putting the lotion on Wisanu and he's like, I can do it. And Tan's like, no, trust me, I'm a doctor. And then Wisanu's like, I am also a doctor, which is so fucking funny. Like the dialogue was so funny in that scene because there's like, oh yeah, you are a doctor. Damn it, I can't use that line.
For all of like the crying and drama, there are some lines that are just truly hilarious.
Hilarious. So funny.
I literally caught myself laughing out loud.
So funny.
Because I just forgot the lines were there. And it's really funny. Oh yeah,
so funny.
I mean, honestly, I know this is Falada's story. but I really, really wanted to see more of them, especially when
All of
you
them.
like you just get them at the finale. I would have loved to see more. I even though these shows do focus on one couple, I would like pieces of ensembleness because I mean, at least in the States, our media has a lot of A line, B line, C line storylines. So
Yeah.
like A is your main focus, but then there's B, and then there's this random little baby storyline that's hanging out that's not always fleshed out as much, but it's there. So like we could have gotten more just like glimpses of it, but to be fair, they only had 8 episodes,
Right.
and like that's not a lot in general, especially when you know it's like a one and done show.
Yeah, exactly.
If it was like, oh, we could get renewed, then maybe they wouldn't have revealed. Well, we wouldn't have gotten the wedding in probably.
Well, yeah. I mean, you'd get that at the very, very end of
Yeah, the
whenever it
very very
ends.
end,
But
or
yeah,
maybe in the middle, but like not at
yeah,
the end of
true.
season one.
Right. But
Um,
yeah,
do you have it?
Wisanu in general as a character, he fascinated me from the beginning because like yeah, he's the man kind of in the middle, but like he's there because of society. He's not really there because he's trying to possess Falada or like he has no nefarious intentions. He to me he was doing his best to be a good son in the eyes of the elders. But in doing
Wasn't he literally
so,
told what to do?
yeah, the high elder of everything seems to be Falada's mom. It seems like their family follows a matriarchal structure, and like Wisanu is like the son of like their big business partner, and so he's doing his best to make his parents happy, and then her parents happy, who's also his business partner. Which, guys, why are we still marrying people for business arrangements? Isn't there another legal way we can do this without marrying people? You know what I mean? Like, why are we still
They're
doing this?
called partnerships.
Correct. Why are we still doing this? That's another story. I'm just throwing that out there to be like, there's other ways to form business relationships, but anyway, in the eyes of the elder, they're like, this is the best way to secure it is if we have an heir to the throne, you know, kind of situation. And he's just like, okay, if this is what you want, I'll do it because I'm a good son. But then I like the fact that we got his story of like why he's doing it. Like when him and Tan are in the coffee shop after he's like, I'm here for Falada again for the millionth time. He's like, okay, boy, let's go chat. He's like, do you even want this? And it's really evident that he's like Ern. He's sacrificing his own happiness just to make the elders happy, to conform to the societal expectations for him coming from his family. And he's like, I would have loved to have more of him because he was so tragic in that aspect. He reminded me a lot of Ern, that he was just like, no, I'm willing to do what they want. And Tom was the first person who's like, what do you want actually? And then he finally thinks about it and like goes on a crisis of being like, I don't even know who I am because I've just been doing what I've been told. So I love that because their kind of stories kind of parallel. It's very similar to the Follow to Earn thing where Earn's like, wow, no one's ever said that to me before. And it made her question a bunch of things. And that's like Tan and Wisnu have the same relationship where he's like, oh, I never thought about me, the individual, before. I was just part of this bigger thing. And sacrificing the way Ern was doing, and I like that a lot. And I think the reason we got more of their storyline compared to like Bo's messy gay shit that was in the background apparently, and we only found out in
What
the finale.
happened?
Listen, whatever. I think the reason we got this storyline is because Wisanu is actually in Falada's plotline. So I think we had to kind of, I mean, not that we had to, but I think it made more sense to get into him because he's so tied to her plot line and she's the main character. And like we really are in our 8 episodes focusing on that. It made sense to dive into that relationship more than like anybody else's.
Honestly, they could have just forgotten about him and I wouldn't have
Totally.
remembered either.
Right.
But I
They
do like
didn't.
this, and it gave Tan something as well because Tan
Yeah.
was also like the backbone of getting uh Falada here right now.
True. That's so true.
But
Yeah.
also
It
like Bo was there too, but like we've seen Tan be there
over and over again.
in
Yeah.
so many ways.
Yeah. So it gave them those two characters autonomy and it humanized Wisanu a lot. Because it's really easy to be like, you're in the way of my ship, I hate you. But it's like his backstory and why he was doing it really did matter. And I like that he just at the end was like, I'm going to do something for me. And so that was really sweet. I like that ending that he got. I thought that was really important.
They're pretty cute. Like,
They're
I
so cute.
do, I do want to see more.
They're so cute. I love them. Speaking of cute, I also just want to give a shout out to Ling and Orm, the actors that like led the series. I thought they did a really, really good job in general. Like they had some scenes that they had to go to very dark places for all the screaming and so much crying. Like especially the scene that breaks my heart the most is the final confrontation with like Falada's mom on the couch. The way she's just like slowly disintegrating in that scene. Good job, Orm. Like that scene must have been so taxing to do. And I love that her mother, like the on-screen mom, was actually Orm's mother, which was like, so to have your mom, actual mother, be there in this scene where it's this really difficult scene, like that must have been helpful as the actor, or embarrassing. Like, Mom, you're watching me like cry. Like, I don't know.
It depends on the relationship.
It depends on the relationship, but that was really sweet to cast her actual mother as her on-screen mother. I do like that choice too. It was very cute.
Yeah, they did a great job.
They did a great job.
So much. I mean, anybody who has to cry that much, which if you're in a Thai girl love show, it seems like you have to know how to cry very well.
A lot.
I feel bad for you.
I know, but that's the crap.
Long days of just crying.
That.
Also, shout out. I know we did bring up the crew before, but shout out to camera and lighting because they filmed right in front of a window or mirror in the first episode and multiple times. And you don't see a camera. You do not see any reflections. And I don't know if that was taken out later or what, but I need to know your secret because...
What's the secret of you?
I need the secret of production. Because
the secret of production, yes.
I struggle with the filming like that sometimes. Like so many reflections.
Yeah, that's hard.
Hate the reflections. I need to know if it was visually removed later or if you set it up. And if so... There's probably pictures somewhere, but I need more. We need to talk to you. So if you would like to come on,
that'd be great. That'd be great. Speaking, I want to add something about production before going back to the acting. Also, shout out to lighting, like you said, because something to know about the lighting in the show that's fairly consistent, specifically in the flashback scenes in the first episode, is that the lighting is really soft. Like you don't get a lot of shadows, you don't get a lot of contrast, and the colors are very like pastel-y, and like so it feels like the tone visually is very like happy, hopeful, light based on the colors, because there's not a lot of darkness, not a lot of contrast happening, which in the flashback 100% makes sense because like that was them living in a little fantasy bubble. So I like that they kept the lighting pretty consistent and it gave it the softer, hopeful kind of feel just visually, which I think fit the story that they were trying to tell.
I'm going to add people to that shout out though, because I'm sure that the colorist, if it was the same if it was a separate person or editing, I don't know fully how their productions work over there since it's a bigger studio. I believe it would just be
because it's
separate colorists. They definitely would have a part in that, in lighting the colors and all of that. So that would be a shout out to post production too, because it doesn't just end with production. There's so much going on. Wish we could really talk to everybody behind the scenes because if you just go to IMDb, because I don't even think my drama list lists everything, but with productions that are fully listed on IMDb, the amount of jobs there are, and like you can go down the list and be like, what is that? And then there's like ABC of the same job or like slightly different titles, but they do completely different things. It's insane to see how many people take a production to get to the finish line.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody that worked on this. And also I want to go back and thank Ling for Falada, because the way she had to play that character as just like being completely emotionless at some times where she's just like a statue, to then when she's with Ern and she's got all her walls down, she's just this bubbly, like it's night and day, that character sometimes, the way she has to portray how the character is based on like where the character is in the story was just amazing. Like her range was really great during the show, and she really nailed it when it came to like playing that character and like how guarded she had to be as Falada and then how unguarded she had to be in certain aspects. Like, shout out to you, man. You did a phenomenal job with that character. We love to see it. All right. Speaking of things we love, last but certainly not least is Ingfa and her existence, which was a 10 out of 10.
Ingfa.
10 out of 10.
Okay, when you say Ingfa, what I remember is Ingfa's hair in a ponytail in the bathroom, urn pinned up against the wall.
I mean, yes.
That's the picture I remember.
Are you all picturing that at home? It's quite the visual.
I love Ingfa because she was confident, was like, I'm gonna make you love me. Which, okay, granted, don't do that. But she willingly saw that that wasn't gonna happen and backed off. And that was the best part.
Yeah. She became a friend. Like, I like when she, at one point she's like, this can be one-sided, that's fine. And like she did put urns, happiness. Like, yeah, happiness first, but yeah, she had fucking fun fucking with Thalida, which when she was like, she gets angry so quickly. She's like, yeah, I know, it's fun. It's fun for me because like, look at this reaction. Because like she's human too, where she's like, I want Urn, and so like, this is fun to antagonize you, my competition. Even though she's like, ah, fuck, that's right, yeah, you know, she's human. Like she made mistakes, but then she would go and like make up for the mistake. Like she did go and talk to Falada and be like, look, here's the deal. Yeah, I like her. I wanted her, but like, yeah.
She wouldn't intentionally hurt Urn. If something that she was doing was interfering with Urn's life, she'd be like, oh shit, no, like that's my bad. Like again, she talked to Falada.
She went to talk to her. Which also, can we talk about that conversation? Because the confidence of Ingfa, maybe you all have this confidence, where she's having this conversation with her rival, basically, on Urn's behalf, and being like, well, this is how, if my words don't, you know, sit in your head, Falada, that you should go, that Urn loves you. Let me be frank with you right now. Like, I was courting her for real, and then it didn't work out because she's in love with you. And like, look at me. Look at me. So the fact that she didn't want me means she loves you. Like, look at me. But just the confidence of that argument was so funny, but accurate.
But also what Urn needed. So if Urn did not end up with Falada, she better end up with Ingfa.
I'm not gonna lie, I shipped them more most of the show because I was like, how cool would this story be to be like, I broke up with my ex, we had this huge tumultuous thing, we kind of came back in each other's lives, decided maybe we should be friends, but meanwhile she meets Ingfa, the one she ends up with. Like, I was here for that story also.
On set, and then it becomes like, not Hollywood, but like entertainment, production, romance.
Yeah, and then the fans get what they actually want.
Which I think is what Girl Rules is.
Which I think is Girl Rules. Yeah, exactly. But also then like fans get what they want, which is like, hey, it's a acting ship that's actually real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't think is good to advertise right now. But
I agree.
No.
That's bad for the actors.
Yeah, this is acting.
This is acting.
But yes, but I do an interesting look into the strategy over there with the characters and how it does affect them in life.
I was just gonna say, I like how the writers write these things in there to be like, see how this affects the actors in their personal lives when you guys ship them and say they're real ships. It's not subtext. It's the text because they have the conversation in here.
Multiple shows.
And multiple shows, especially this one where Urn is explicitly asking her agent to be like, stop getting me acting gigs with Ingfa because the fans are shipping us for real and I have a girlfriend. Please stop this.
She has to hurt her own business.
Her career.
And income. Yeah. So
that sucks.
Her life
Name
is okay.
another job. Name another job where you have to make decisions like that.
Oh, I'm sure we could, but like it doesn't make it any better, nor should that job also be like that.
Yeah, I guess politician, but like seriously, like most jobs
sometimes
you're not
acting too.
I'm just saying, most jobs you're not thinking of this to be like, well, people are gonna ship me with my coworker, and then that affects my person. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, shout out to actors. We're sorry for the way your life goes on stage, and it really does affect you personally. And I appreciate writers trying to like be like, hey guys, they are people. Please remember that with personal lives, and they have to be shipped to make money. And anyway,
They are people
they are
with
people.
feelings.
FBI, my love. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I loved Ingfa, and I liked Ingfa's arc overall of just her ending up being a really good friend at the end of the day. Like, yeah, she like
Ride or die.
she was romantically into Ern, but she respected Ern's boundaries constantly and like was ultimately a very good friend that just looked out for her. And I really liked that about her character a lot.
And Engfa, the character, definitely needs to get the leading role. I mean, she was the leading role, so never mind. Engfa, the actress, who I promise I will learn your name.
I think it's Ying.
I feel
if
like
I remember correctly. I think. Don't quote me on that.
Okay, we do have to learn that because we did learn other characters'
Where's her show?
names.
Where's her show?
But we do still say Jim is Jim. We do. Well, no.
Yeah.
Look, no. Okay.
Okay,
Anyway, we don't mean anything by just calling you the character's name. You are your own person, but you deserve your own project.
Absolutely.
And we will be the first people in line
screaming
to watch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say about The Secret of Us before we transition into our listener comments about why they love The Secret of Us?
No, I think we need to showcase why other people love it.
Let's showcase it. So, first of all, thank you to everybody who participated. We appreciate it. Every time we do one of these Why We Love This episodes, we will be putting out a little thing to gauge your audience, gauge your interest so you can participate in the episode. So, thank you to all the following people that participated. Let's start first with our lovely Patreon members. So, first is Cassie M, who says, I fell in love with it as I was watching the near perfect first episode, which portrayed the history of Ern and Lada. Yes. While the rest of the eps never reached that high again, they kept the dynamic of that first meet cute when they realized they were both Thai people in a foreign land, and they immediately liked each other. Can we talk about how funny that was? Where Ern was like, I'll just speak in my native tongue because this bitch can't understand me, and then followed us like, I can understand you. Like, how embarrassing would that be if that happened to you and you're like, ah, fuck. You understand me? Shit. That was really funny as a meet cute. Great
That's
job.
hilarious.
So funny. Also, Cassie writes, the chemistry between Ling and Orm is what makes this believable. I think that's a common sentiment for most people, is that Ling and Orm really sold the show and sold the relationship aspect, which I agree.
Mm-hmm. The next comments are from BJR on Patreon, and they said, I still put down the initial meet cute as my favorite scene, and I hope I'm learning to not be exactly like Lada's father. In other words, verbally supportive, but with no follow-up.
Dude, the way he was so spineless. He's like, I told you this would happen, but then never did anything to stop it. Was like ridiculous.
Oh yeah, no, he just sat there.
He just sat there.
He's which like, is a great message in life in generally. How about we talk to the people in the States right now? How you can't just sit there and be like, oh, that's not good, that's bad. You need to show up, speak out, do something when you. But I'm an ally. Something going on.
I'm an ally. And then you don't do anything. Yeah, so true, BJR. All right, thank you to the lovely Chaos Crew. Then we'll move over to YouTube, where we had a comment from Zangerstein, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. Okay. This listener writes, I said this on the Discord, but to me as an Asian, it's obvious that the goal of the channel, meaning Channel 3, is to reach their conservative viewers. Channel 3 is a big buck channel with wider audience reach. Okay. Love that comment, because it does, Channel 3 does read different from like GMMTV, which seems more like younger base, like a lot like audience base focused based on how they, at least from my perspective, at least on how they adapt things that we've seen.
That's a good point to point out as well, because
it's a really good point.
I never even thought, like, because our channels have different
flavors
demographics.
To them. Yeah, exactly.
These channels and companies also have different demographics.
Like, I assume Channel 3 would never have put Blank the series on It was controversial as it was. So I imagine like something like that. So that makes sense. Okay. Zangerstein writes, continues, there were buckets of tears, which elder generations like, oh my God, the drama. Yeah, it felt like an old school drama too, the way they elongated certain moments of just drama, the way they like slowed things down, let the music kind of like draw out your emotions, the crossfades. Like it did feel classically dramatic to me.
There were some shots where I'm like, this feels like a soap opera that I've
Correct.
like seen against my will.
Yeah. Felt old school drama-y to me, like a soap opera. Okay,
Especially
Zangerstein is
the
in.
Like the close-ups of the crying. Yeah.
Yes,
So like I
exactly. And then
understand
they
what
would
they're
slow it
saying.
down too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zoom in.
So I get that. They're like appealing to an elder generation where I assume that was like perhaps a more popular filming style, potentially. At least in the States, from the States. We have a different point of view than the writer or Zangerstein does. Last comment from Zangerstein. But also how they resolved the ending. It wasn't bitter or angry, it's just sadness. Falada doesn't have childhood trauma to fix, so her response is pleading rather than anger. They didn't focus to be accepted by the mom, it was seeking for understanding or empathy. The mom herself gave in, it's her own choice to do. That, I think, and I think a lot of Asians will understand, it resonated to Asian family values, like what they valued the most, which some in Western cultures won't value in the same way. The respect for the mom's choice is what in the end made earn that respect back, that sort of thing. That totally makes sense to me. It was more so like, because I feel like if this was in the States, it would have been just Earn and Falada being like, burn the family down, let's go no contact, like fuck everything. Versus like they literally have this conversation in the hospital where Earn is like, we have to take a step back from this because your mom's in the hospital now. And like, you have to be there for her. And they get to the point where Falada's like, even if that means we may never see each other again, like we have to put this on pause until my mom understands. And they're both willing to do that out of respect for like the mother and letting the mother come to that choice. That's a really, really good point. And we appreciate your insight into that as a member of like Asian community. We appreciate your perspective on this. That was really helpful.
Yes. Thank you. Because
thank you.
Obviously we only have one perspective. As much as like we can look into things, we cannot live that other perspective. So it definitely helps when everybody does comment nicely about their own experiences and educating us. We do try to look into things as much as we can. But there's going to be things where that falls short, and we will let you know when we realize and we're told. So over on TikTok, Lux_Foy says 2 things. Ready? Just one statement. Orm's smile, Lingling's jealousy. And I think Theora's right there with you with the jealousy. Theora loves some jealousy.
It makes good drama. I don't love jealousy as a thing, but it's good for drama. Because, like, again, why was Ingfa being a dick? Because she knew she could make Falada jealous, and it was funny for her. And she's like, this is entertaining. And Orm's like, you dumb bitch. But anyway, like, Orm has a fantastic smile. Oh my god, she's like a little puppy dog. Like, how do you not be happy with an Earn smile? I think it's impossible.
Especially in the beginning.
Yeah. So cute.
But there's a reason why you can't say no to her.
Yeah. That little smile. Okay. So, yes.
Out of the whole show, what would you give the Big Energy Award to?
Ingfa.
Ingfa.
Ingfa. Just her existence. Her confidence, man. Woo. Ingfa.
Ingfa. And then, you know what? Oh, what's his name again?
Wisanu? Tan?
Yeah. Doing something for himself.
Yes. Ugh. Agreed. And then also, like, again, as our listeners have said, Earn and Falada's meet cute was fucking adorable. And just that got a lot of big gay energy. The way they kept like walking into each other and then the language thing in a foreign country, that was an adorable meet cute and so gay. I loved it.
Real quick, I forgot to mention this. But the scene in 103 where Falada is looking in the mirror in her office, like with her, it was like just
Oh my
after she was
God.
swimming the night before, and she's like, "You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're
That was
okay.
cute.
You're good. You're okay." And then Ern walks in, and Falada says, "Not okay."
That was cute. That was funny. Oh wait, I have another big gay energy award. Falada, when they were just started dating, and how like the third day after they met, she's already like, "You're my Valentine, move in." And I was like, "Girl, you guys just met like 2 seconds ago." The way she like U-hauled with Ern.
The amount of roses that came
Oh
to the door.
God. That was so funny. It was really like she was such a sap, and I love that about her. It was very cute.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the secret of
anything
us,
else
everyone.
about the secret of us? That's it.
That's
the
it.
secret.
That's the secret. If there's anything we didn't talk about that you loved or wanted to highlight, please put it in the comments below. Like, show more love for this show. It was really cute. They did a lot with 8 episodes, and we're very excited to see the next LingOrm project, because Bodyguard, the Bodyguard story. I'm so excited. It's gonna be great.
Be interesting to see how it is, which I'm sure
Mhm.
it's great. All the shows have something great about it.
Absolutely.
But now it's time to reveal our secret. What we've been holding back this whole episode, which Theora did spoil in the beginning. We usually don't do that unless you actually do. So if you stuck around to the very end of this episode, this is the phrase that we challenge you to use in a comment or a review. And I think all the things that I give you at the end of these episodes would be hilarious in reviews, because if people are just reading them, they're like, what the hell is this? So today's secret phrase is, "It's bananas."
That's a good one. BANANAS.
That's all I'm thinking.
This show is bananas. Yeah. Put that in a review.
Once I thought about that,
5 stars.
because sometimes I think about them during the episode, all my head was doing BANANAS. Stick to the secret of us. Stick to the secret of us.
There were bananas in this episode. So anyway, yes, please, a review would be amazing. Just having that phrase. But anyway, leave a comment again to it. Secret of Us fans will understand. It's bananas. Exactly. So, all right. So thank you if you made it this long. Again, I hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll be back next time to talk about 23.5. That'll be the next episode we're covering in this format. So please contact us tell us why you love the show. We'll be putting a post out on social media, so follow us there so you can participate. And then after that, we will be deep diving into Pluto, the series, in a scene-by-scene format, because there's so much, and that show was wild, and it's going to be a gay old time. So get ready for that. And until next time, hydrate for lesbian Jesus.
And gay it up all over the place.
Bye.
Bye.
And with that, we've been Big Gay Energy. If you like this episode, check out all our other episodes right here on YouTube.
Please like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more amazing super gay content.